The Sharp oven has a broil setting, which is unique, and it's really different than most of the other ovens. A few ovens make it so that you can broil, but you have to turn the food over. With the Sharp oven, the air is circulating around just like it is in convection cooking, and so you do not have to turn the food during cooking. When I broil, I can either use the broil pad here. There's a manual broil pad, but I tend to usually use the CompuBroil over here. So because when I use the CompuBroil, then the oven automatically sets it for the broil temperature and then puts in the time. I just have to tell the oven what size of meat that I have that I'm putting in there. So today we're going to do a steak, and so I'm going to push CompuBroil, and then it says select the food, so I look at the list of food, and so I'll push number 3 for steaks, and then it'll ask me to select the weight, and so I'm going to put in 7 because the steak is a 0.7 steak. So then once I have all the information in the oven, then I just push start and the oven will start preheating. Now for broiling, the oven has to go up to 450 degrees, and that's the highest temperature that the oven will go. If you think about your regular oven, when we broil, the heat usually comes down on it. You have a direct heat, and then the food browns on one side, and then you turn it over and it browns on the other side. In this oven, since the air is circulating, we put the food on the low rack, and then the air goes around it, and so I do not have to turn the steak during cooking. And what I have here for the steak today is that I have a New York strip steak, and this is about 3/4 of an inch thick, which is the thickness that I like to use for the steak. I'm going to put one of these baking rounds underneath it to catch the drips. And marinate it if you want to. Today I'm going to use a Grill Mate steak seasoning, and they have a number of different flavors. And so we'll sprinkle it on one side, and then turn the meat over to get the other side. And during the preheat time, I can push convection, and it will tell me the temperature in the oven, inside the oven. Remember, on broil we're going up to 450, and like I said earlier when we were talking about the convection, how the heat will vary in your RV parks, that a lot of times you're going to have trouble getting your oven up to 450 on shore power. So generally when you're broiling, in most cases you'll probably be more successful in using your generator with it to get it up to the 450 degree temperature. With the steak, it is going to be very hot in the oven, and so it's going to tend to spatter a little bit. And I don't like to clean up my oven very well, so what I like to do is I trim off most of the fat before I start. When you want to control the doneness, you have a power level button that you can also push. And so when you push the power level either once or twice. Once if you want the steak more done, and twice if you want it less done. And you use the same thing with some of your other automatic settings. I usually just use the time as it comes up, and then what I do with a 3/4 inch steak, it will usually come out to medium doneness. If I want it a little more rare, another way that I can do is to have the meat colder. But you may find even in your home that it may take longer to preheat the oven, especially during a heat wave where the amperage is low in our homes as well as out on the road and in an RV park. Let's check our temperature. 450 now, so usually it gets up to 450 and then it holds a little bit before the timer will ring, at which point it's time to put the food in the oven. Now that the oven is hot, and so I'm going to open the oven door and place the steak in. So I put the baking round at the bottom to catch the drips, and then I put the meat in, and then I press start. And when I press start, then 15 minutes comes up into the display. So when I use the CompuBroil setting, then it automatically will put the time in once I push start, and it gets up to temperature. Okay, our time is just about. You can hear how the steak sizzles in there because it is very hot at 450 degrees. And so we'll get ready here to take it out of the oven so you can see what it looks like. When I take the steak out, I usually take the turntable out too. For most cooking, I don't take the turntable out, but I am going to take it out here. So just lift it up off of the rack, and I'll just hold it up here so you can see that it is browned on both sides. And we'll just set it there for a little bit. And then I'm going to take the rack off, and I'm going to just put that into my sink. And I usually turn it upside down in a little bit of water. And I'll also just pull this baking round off and set that over there too. And then what you can do is to make your oven easier to clean because the steak is going to have spattered a little bit. We trim most of the fat off, but there'll still be fat there. I have a little dish with some water in it, and I just put some dish detergent in it. And so I'm going to just set that onto the turntable and then put it back into the oven. Now when I put something on the hot turntable, I need to be sure that it's going to withstand the heat. So you can microwave right after you've done convection cooking or even broiling, but be sure and use a Pyrex or a high heat silicone dish that's going to withstand the heat. Say you've just done convection cooking and you have a little dish of vegetables you want to heat up in a plastic dish, then put a silicone hot pad underneath it to protect the dish from the hot plate. So we're going to just put this in, and I'm going to put the turntable in first. Actually, our oven doesn't look too bad here, but this will just help to get all of the greasiness out. So I just put this water with a little bit of dish detergent in it into the oven, and then I'm going to put it on microwave for a couple of minutes. And what it will do is it'll come to a boil, and it'll just kind of coat the inside with this soapy steam. And so then I'll let that stand while we're eating. And so after we're through eating, then the oven will be cooled, and then I can do the cleaning on it. If I have some things that are cooked on and I need to clean a little harder, then I like to use the smooth top oven cleaner, similar to what I use on my smooth top range. And it has a little Dobie type of scrubber here that I can just scrub if I need to. But any kind of a stainless cleaner will work, or any kind of a smooth top cooktop cleaner will work to do any additional cleaning. Okay, the steak has had a few minutes to stand, so I want to just cut into it, and I don't usually use the kitchen shears at the table, but it's easy to show it when I'm just showing it like this. So we're going to just lift it up here, and I'll cut into it. And then I want to just lift it up here so that you can see the doneness. So you can see that it is pink in the center, and it's cooked on the outside. And with that steak seasoning that we use, it just has a delicious flavor. I've shown you how to do steaks today, but there are also other things that you can broil. There are 4 things that are listed on the front panel here with the CompuBroil. And then in my cookbook, the On the Go cookbook, I have a whole chapter on broiling in that book. I've covered most of the wonderful things that your Sharp oven will do. But before closing, I want to just go over a few of the special features. You have a slow cook button, which is up here in the convection section. And what the slow cook does when you push that is that it comes on at 300 degrees, and it will give you 4 hours of cooking. Now I can change the temperature. If I push slow cook a second time, I can select any of the temperature pads lower than 300 degrees. And also in the On the Go book, I have a whole chapter on slow cooking in there. So if you like to do pot roasts or stews, ribs, things like that need long, slow cooking, then that is a good feature to use. Another handy feature of the oven is to have it start at a later time. Push the custom help and number 3, and then just follow through the directions, and you'll put in the start time and the finish time and the type of cooking that you want to use. Another setting that you have is down at the bottom here. You have a keep warm setting. This keep warm button will keep your food warm for up to 30 minutes. It's with a very low microwave power. I also like to use the convection and then the number 2, 150 for keeping things warm. So if I'm doing pancakes or food that I want to keep warm just in the oven, that's a good temperature to use too. And you also have a kitchen timer on your oven. So if I push that, then I just put in the time. So say I want 5 minutes, I go 500 and then start. And then the time will just count down without the oven going. With your oven, you do have a 1-year warranty, and that includes an in-home service for that first year. So that if you have any problems with it, just go to the Sharp website or call 1-800-BE-SHARP, and you can get the nearest service center, and they will come and check out your oven. Well, it's been fun to do this video for you, and I hope that it's helped you to just feel more comfortable with your oven. And I hope that if you have a chance, you'll come and visit one of my classes. They're actually much more exciting because I usually never work in such a controlled environment as this. And it would be great if I had an RV one of these days and I could park right next to you and you could come and ask questions. But until then, just email me or go to my website and contact me, and I will be glad to help you in any way that I can. So enjoy your oven, and hope to see you down the road.